Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the feckin' universe, today we're gonna be doing something that I've been meaning to do for quite some time. And considering we got that incredible piece of gaming history, the absolute overtaking of the business that Microsoft had undertaken, the purchase of Bethesda and ZeniMax Studios, I said now is the best time than ever to do this video, because we're going to be taking two epic franchises and we're going to merge them together in this video. And that's of course Microsoft's Halo and Bethesda's Doom. Lads and ladies around the world, what's the crack? My name is DV Geek and it is time for us to check out some videos on the internet to do with these two behemoths. Now I know YouTube has plenty videos regarding these two iconic super soldiers, and I'm going to check them out here today. So this video is going to be me reacting to some very interesting videos regarding the two characters known as Master Chief and Doom Guy slash Slayer. So I'm gonna scour the internet to see what videos are interesting and what videos we should watch. Now I know Hidden Xperia done a video on this and I think I might check that one out too, and some others. Now I do believe there is also a death battle between Doom Guy and Master Chief, so I'm gonna check that out as well. But I'm gonna key in Doom versus Halo on YouTube, see what comes up, and we'll just take it from there, I guess. So lads and ladies out there, I hope you're excited, I hope you're hyped, and I think this is the best time for me to do this. So show your love, show your support by smashing that like, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and of course, if you guys want to support the channel even further, then check me out on Patreon. Anyway, chaps, ladies, girls, boys, whatever you are, aliens, it is time to check out some videos. I'm ready. Let's do it. Alright, so first things first, let's key in Doom versus Halo and see what comes up. Alright, so the first thing that pops up, which there's no surprise there, is the death battle. Now this is something that was made 8 years ago, so this is quite old, but fuck it. Let's check this out first, and then we'll check out the video underneath, which I think is, of course, my boys Hidden Xperia's video on Master Chief versus Doom Guy. But let's watch the death battle. Let's see what these guys have to say. But considering this was 8 years ago, it's not updated. There's changes with all the characters involved, so this is going to be interesting. So take this one with a grain of salt. I've never seen this, so this is going to be interesting. Welcome back to a death battle!
When the aliens invade 1,000 years from now and our hyper-advanced technology isn't enough, our last hope will inevitably be placed in the hands of the lone Space Marine.
Like the super soldier, Master Chief.
And Doom Guy, the bane of hell itself.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Okay. Alright. There we go.
117 was abducted by the UNSC to be part of the Spartan 2 program.
The worst daycare ever.
At 14, he underwent the program's augmentation procedures, dramatically increasing his strength, speed, vision, intelligence, and reflexes.
He sure
When
did.
it was done, his bones were nearly indestructible, and he could beat up and kill way more experienced Marines. At 14! Man, that's one harsh puberty.
Upon reaching the rank of Master Chief Petty Officer, John began a 30-year campaign leading the Spartans against 3 different threats: the Insurrection, the Alien Covenant, and the Flood. As a Spartan, he wears Mark 6 Mjolnir armor. This technological marvel links directly to John's brain, so his actions are controlled by thought before movement. Simultaneously, the suit itself multiplies the Chief's already enhanced physical capabilities.
The suit weighs half a
pretty
freaking ton,
insane.
yet the guy still jumps around like he's on the moon.
The helmet's heads-up display includes a motion tracker with an 80-foot radius. Also, the suit projects a recharging energy shield.
The Chief's first sidearm is the M6D Magnum. This
It's
scoped
so
high-powered
OP.
pistol uses 12.7mm armor-piercing rounds with a precision accuracy of over 400 feet. I don't care what kind of armor you're wearing. 3 headshots from this baby and you're done.
His other sidearms include the SMG and frag grenades.
His standard firearms include the
presents.
rapid-fire
Get
assault
it right.
rifle, the more precise battle rifle, and the M90 shotgun, a pump-action death dealer that uses Soulcraft 8-gauge shells.
Which are so impossibly dangerous, they've been banned worldwide to the point of near extinction.
But even that's not enough killing power for the Master Chief. The M41 rocket launcher holds 2 rockets at once, and his sniper rifle is designed for killing giant alien infantry from long distances. The shells can pierce tank armor or rip people in half. And then there's Chief's killer app, the Spartan Laser.
Ah, the
With a
good old
3-second
Spartan
charge
laser.
and
I've had
5-shot
so
limit.
much fun
It
with
does
this
have
weapon.
its faults, but
Think of it kind of like a laser pointer that points things into oblivion.
Master Chief can
I
only
mean, he's
carry
not
2 or
wrong.
3 weapons at a time. However, he seems to possess extraordinary luck and can usually find exactly the weapon he needs somewhere nearby.
He finds weapons on the ground more often than you can find change on a sidewalk.
He can also use special equipment in the field. The overshield triples the strength of his armor shields, and using active camouflage will cover him in an aura of light-bending energy, creating the illusion of invisibility.
Plus, the bubble shield is a portable force field that protects the Chief from all projectiles, though people and
Gotta
vehicles
love the
can
bubble
pass right
shield.
through it. How the hell does that work?
But even that's not the last of Master Chief's vast arsenal. When the elites allied themselves with the UNSC during the
There's my
Human
boy,
Covenant War, the
Johnson.
2 sides traded some of their weaponry, giving John access to plasma pistols, plasma rifles, and Type 51 carbines.
Not to mention
Well,
my
John
favorite,
straight
the
up just
sticky
takes the
plasma
weapons,
grenades
so-
and the lethal energy sword.
The Type 1 energy sword is
Oh,
one of
no,
the few
no, no,
weapons
no.
John has yet
Thingy.
to master.
The
It
thingy.
features
The
2
Type 1
4-foot
thingy.
laser blades that can actually block bullets.
Really? Man, that would have been useful in the games.
The Master Chief has consistently proven to accomplish the impossible. He's an expert in combat strategy, can run 50 miles an hour, has defeated 3 entirely different armies multiple times, destroyed an entire Covenant armada single-handedly, and prevented galactic genocide. Twice.
And one time he fell from orbit, holding on to nothing but a flimsy piece of metal, landed without a scratch, and was up kicking alien ass just a few minutes later. Why? Because he can.
Damn right.
Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Damn right. The biggest blue ball cliffhanger ever.
Original
Okay,
ass-kicking
it's Doom Guy time.
First
This is gonna be
person
interesting.
badass and one of my personal heroes, Doom Guy.
After
Woo!
disobeying his commanding officer and beating him to death, Doom Guy's Space Marine Corps career drastically changed when he was transferred to the desolate moons.
Now, there is going to be some important things to note here. When it comes to Doom, the lore is a little bit all over the place, alright? It's scattered everywhere. There's no real, I want to say, structure to the lore of Doom. Doom Guy, Doom Slayer, they're different people, apparently. So, yeah, you gotta take things with a grain of salt with these videos that we're going to watch today. But I'm excited to see different opinions and different perspectives of Doom and Halo. So, yeah, let's keep going.
Of Mars, which just so happened to house a magical gateway to the bloody bowels of hell.
Mexico.
No.
What?
Killed them back.
He wears the Mega Armor, a shielded combat suit almost twice as tough as typical security armor, and can endure dozens of normally fatal plasma blasts.
He carries a huge arsenal of murder machines, all at once.
Using a backpack with experimental warp technology, Doom Guy is able to hold all of his weapons simultaneously.
I'm pretty sure
he wears
his
a
pistol
backpack?
uses the same
Didn't realize
technology
that.
since he never has to reload. And when things get tight, his chainsaw will rip and tear through anybody. No, not the chainsaw. Yes, the chainsaw.
I know this is 8 years ago, but some of it is so cringe.
5mm ammunition as the handgun, and is relatively ineffective against strong body armor.
That's stupid. Luckily, Doom Guy has his trusty pump-action shotgun. It holds 16 shells and fires 7 pellets a shot, with a spread in range so ridiculous he doesn't even have to aim. But apparently, one overpowered shotty isn't enough. So Doom Guy got himself a super shotgun, a heavy double barrel devastator that fires a huge spread of 20
You gotta
pellets.
love the super
Good luck
shotgun though.
dodging
It's
that.
so
He
OP.
also wields a plasma gun and rapid-fire rocket launcher, which can hold up to 50 rockets at once.
What
That's
the
kind
hell?
of insane.
Who designs these things?
But even that pales in comparison to Doomguy's ultimate weapon.
It's the king of cannons, the doomsday bazooka that lays waste to everything. It's the big fucking gun 9000!
The BFG fires enormous rounds of plasma. Upon impact, the resulting detonation releases trace rays across a wide, varying blast radius. This gun is strong enough to annihilate the gargantuan cyber demon in a mere 2 or 3 shots, and the unprecedented range of its splash damage ensures no one's getting away unscathed.
Damn right.
Wait a second, Boomstick, you're not gonna believe this, but the BFG is not Doomguy's deadliest weapon.
Yes, more!
Behold the Unmaker, a portable death ray which puts everything else to shame.
The Unmaker? I don't think I've ever even heard of that gun.
So powerful because they actually feed off the demonic energy of the target, which means it's basically useless against anything that isn't from hell.
Damn it!
Ah,
well, I guess it
okay.
doesn't really matter when you already have a backpack full of things to kill people with.
Yeah.
Give me the BFG any day.
Now, Doomguy isn't exactly a super soldier, but his strength and speed are much greater than...
The way they're building up Doomguy here, and I know they're going with some factual information and what they can research, but the way they're going with it, I feel like they're going to say Doomguy wins this one.
Well, exactly what you think they would.
Doomguy rarely relies on
Doomguy is a
strength.
very
He prefers to load on his
over-exaggerated
enemies as
character.
fast as he
You
can.
need to understand that. At least Master Chief has some logic behind
He
it.
even walks knee-deep into hell itself to avenge his pet rabbit, Daisy. He can run
Oh,
up
yeah,
to
the
57
rabbit.
miles an hour, even outrunning his own rockets, and can spot invisible enemies.
He's no normal man. He's Doomguy.
Yeah, punch him in the dick! Punch him in the dick! That always works.
All right, the combatants
All right,
are
this is
set.
it.
Let's end this debate once
This is
and
it.
for all. But
Here we go.
first,
Here we go. Oh, I see a warthog. Alright, so we got like a 2D version of a death battle. They really need to do an updated version of this. Alright, here we go. Alright, Doomguy switched between all of his weapons. It's alright, my boy Master Chief's got his AR. It's all good. Woo! Let's go! Oh shit! Nice. Oh, he's got a thingy! Oh, here we go. That's a good distraction. Oh, he can see invisible enemies. That was a close one. Shit. Oh, here we go. Rocket launcher time. Uh-oh. Come on, Chief. Come on, Chief. You see what I mean? Doomguy is just so exaggerated. Oh, you just shoot him in the dick. Magnum. Point blank. Oh. Present. Oh my god, my boy! And the teabagging, I love it.
It's about
I was
time
not
we
expecting
have
that.
old-fashioned gunfight.
Doomguy may have an enormous
I was not
destructive
expecting
arsenal,
that.
but
Oh my
unfortunately
God.
his weapons lack versatility.
I hate to admit it, but Chief can take and dish out way more punishment than Doomguy.
And while defeating Hell sounds awe-inspiring, Doomguy's enemies weren't that much different from Master Chief's.
This fight was nuts.
Oh my
The winner
god.
is the Master Chief.
Yes. The bubble shield! Lads, the bubble shield was the defining factor in this fight. That is amazing. Wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. But you have to give it. Master Chief's got that reflection time, dude. You know, he's got that reaction time. He knew exactly what to do at that pinnacle moment and threw a present right at the perfect time. Insane stuff. I very much enjoyed this, but I do feel that an updated version is needed. Maybe Master Chief versus Doomslayer. You know, we need that. We need that. Well, great job. This was 8 years ago, but I gotta give it to them. This is fantastic. So shout out to Death Battle for some greatness. I love it. Alright, lads. So the next video on our list is Master Chief versus Doomguy. Which iconic super soldier would win. Now, this is done by the very talented and very knowledgeable hidden Xperia. Let's check this out. I'm very excited about this one. Alright, let's see what you got for us, Luke.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm really fucking hyped for Halo Infinite. I'm also really fucking hyped for Doom Eternal. Now, aside from both their names almost meaning the same thing, these two cool-ass games also share one other key feature. Their main characters are two of the most badass, iconic super soldiers in gaming history.
Damn right.
Both sporting an incredibly violent legacy of tearing through wave after wave of aliens with ease. So, seeing as you guys enjoyed the last one so much, I've partnered up with Roanoke Gaming once again to pit these two gaming juggernauts against
Roanoke
each other
Gaming.
to see which super soldier would reign victorious in a 1v1 fight to the death. Just like before, I'm going to cover the Master Chief side of things before finishing with who I think would win, and Roanoke is going to cover the Doom guy side of things in his video, for which there'll be a link at the top of the description.
Okay, so there's going to be two videos we have to watch, lads.
I present to you the totally unbiased Chief side of the fight. Something
totally unbiased? Are you sure, Luke? Are you sure, though?
Master Chief is a Spartan 2, a class of Spartan super soldier that is arguably still the UNSC's most elite today. Like his other Spartan 2 brothers and sisters, he was kidnapped at the age of 6 and forced into a life of hardcore military training to ensure that he became the best he could possibly be. His childhood and adolescence consisted of being put through extreme stamina, tactical and combat training at highly top-secret facilities on Reach, where he constantly ranked the highest in his class before being pumped full of countless experimental chemicals during his augmentation.
My God.
These chemicals and medical procedures greatly enhanced Chief's visual perception, muscle mass, bone structure, strength, endurance, reflexes, intelligence, and made his bones practically unbreakable. This, combined with his height of 6'10" and weight of 130 kilograms, makes him a fucking behemoth.
Yes!
And that's before we talk about his Mjolnir armor.
Words
so
out of my mouth.
Armored, Chief is an absolute tank. But with his Mjolnir armor, he practically becomes Shagohod. When armored up, he reaches a height of 7'2" and a weight of 451 kilos. His armor also provides him with even more strength, resolve, and combat prowess.
Now this is a more detailed description
the helmet.
of Master Chief.
A neural implant is inserted into his skull during augmentation, which allows the Mjolnir armor to work synonymously with his body, turning it from a suit of armor to what is essentially just an extension of his already extremely powerful body. The armor itself is crafted from a thick titanium alloy, capable of stopping most small arms fire and putting up a pretty strong defense against larger rounds too, and even armor-piercing ones as well, although they are able to eventually pierce the armor. To counter the use of plasma weaponry, the titanium is also given a refractive coating, so the heat from the plasma is dispersed, which minimizes the
Nicely
damage.
done,
although this,
man.
again, doesn't entirely stop it. One of Chief's closest squad members, Linda 058, was almost killed by plasma fire while wearing Mark V, so even though it's resilient to plasma, it's most definitely not invincible to it. The Mjolnir also comes with a fail-safe self-destruct option, which not only prevents the tech from falling into enemy hands, but allows the user to go out in a blaze of martyrdom. If Chief did happen to go down in battle, he could activate this failsafe, overloading the suit's microfusion reactor and burning everything in a 10-meter radius before exploding, sending himself out with a bang. The suit also grants him energy shields, increased movement speed and jump height, and the ability to utilize an AI companion for maximum battlefield efficiency. Of course, later on during his career, Chief served with Cortana, a smart AI created directly from the brain of Dr. Catherine Halsey, the creator of the Spartan program. Beneath the armor is a titanium nanocomposite black undersuit that provides another strong level of ballistics protection, while also remaining
I just want to stop it there and just say that I'm super impressed by the knowledge that this man has. Like, honestly, I've been a fan of Halo ever since I started it, and I love it. I've never looked into the intricate details quite like this, and listening to this now, it just makes me love Master Chief even more than I already do. He's such an impressive soldier. But to just hear, you know, the things that he's been through, and I witnessed that as well, and seeing that, you know, it's insane. But how he's become this man-made behemoth. It's remarkable. And the Mjolnir suit, insane. Just listening to those facts, it blows me away. And you can understand why Master Chief can do the things he does. Insane. Great job, Luke, so far. Loving this video.
Incredibly flexible. Inside the suit is a layer of liquid metal that acts as sort of an artificial muscle extension to increase Chief's overall strength and maneuverability, along with biofoam injectors to quickly seal a wound, which means that if Chief gets wounded in battle, he can continue fighting with ease. Force multiplying circuits are also located inside the suit, which greatly enhance any force applied by it, making Chief's hand-to-hand combat extremely lethal. Master Chief is incredibly strong and armoured, no doubt, but his Mjolnir, no matter the variant or generation, massively increases his lethality to a level that is pretty much unmatched by anything.
Lethality? Is that a word?
In combat. This hyper
my new favorite word.
Battle tested countless times, and after each skirmish, Chief comes out a tougher Spartan. To go through each and every conflict that Chief has served in would probably take years. No service record is as long or as decorated as his, but we can briefly cover some highlights. So Chief's first ever mission was at the mere age of 13, where he and some of his fellow Spartan 2s were tasked with capturing an insurrectionist leader, Colonel Robert Watts, a task that they successfully completed with ease, despite the fact that this mission was undertaken before any of the Spartans even had their Mjolnir. Later that year, however, he fought in the Battle of Kaiseti IV, alongside his other Spartan 2s, who this time were all decked out in their new Mark IV Mjolnir. It took place very shortly after humanity first made hostile contact with the Covenant on Harvest, and resulted in Chief and Co. taking down a large Covenant ship, the Unrelenting. A year later, in 2526, he helped rescue remaining survivors from the Corbulo Military Academy on Sicinius IV. A very, very bloody battle in which the casualties...
God, I love that movie, man. It's so good. It's on my Twitch if you haven't seen it.
Combat prowess during this battle, single-handedly taking down a pair of hunters, one of which he killed with nothing but a well-placed grenade. Now, as badass as all of this is for the sake of time and importance, let's skip forward to Chief's most notable battles.
He was kind of geeking out a little bit in his own facts.
Reach and the Halo event. When the fall of Reach began, Chief was dedicated to saving it. He'd grown up there. The planet was practically his home. So despite some higher-ups being adamant that it was a lost cause, he ignored them still and did everything he could to save it. In the process, he lost numerous Spartan brothers and sisters, but continued to fight on. With the help of Blue Team, he did all that he could, but ultimately, Reach was in fact a lost cause, regardless of his efforts. Chief then left Reach in cryosleep on board the Pillar of Autumn before being awoken to the discovery of Halo. Now, with the help of his AI Cortana, who enhanced his abilities even further, he proceeded to fend off the Covenant, defeat the Flood, and destroy the Ring. He then met up with some members of Blue Team and destroyed the Covenant battle station, the Unyielding Hierophant, which had managed to attain Earth's coordinates, which, if he hadn't managed to do, would have been pretty catastrophic for the human force. During the battle, Chief aided in the destruction of 498 of the Prophet of Truth ships, creating a massive dent in the entire Covenant armada. He then acquired his new, upgraded Mark VI and proceeded to defend Earth from the Covenant, before chasing Regret off to Delta Halo, killing him, and inflicting a massive blow to the Covenant's leadership.
Punching the face off
Earth for the second time, but this time it wasn't just from the Covenant, it was from the Flood too, before following Truth to the Ark, where he and the Arbiter put an end to the Covenant, once and for all. Then he defeated the Flood, again, and destroyed yet another Halo, before being sucked into a mysterious planet and almost single-handedly defeating the most decorated, notorious foreigner warrior to ever exist. Now, I could go on and on and on about Chief's history, but really all you need to know is that he's served in countless wars, and no human, alien, or zombie that ever crossed him is still alive today, no matter their size, strength, or importance.
Damn right!
Through all these trials and tribulations, Chief learned a unique skill that no specific training could have ever taught him: the ability to use alien technology. Any form of alien weaponry, vehicle, or technology, Chief can use with ease and lethality, which is a massive benefit in the battlefield, especially when ammo is low. He also has one more thing on his side that nobody else does. One thing that stays with him no matter what. Luck. So, when we stack up all of Chief's abilities, strengths, and enhancements, both biological and mechanical of course, how does he stack up against Doomguy? Well, I would have loved to have said that this fight was the closest thing to an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, but sadly, for our boy Chief, that just isn't the case. Chief might be a hyper-lethal tank, but pretty much everything that he does well, Doomguy just does better. If you want to know the fine details, then now is definitely the time to go and check out Roanoke's video. The link is at the top of the description, but I'll give you the brief details. So, Doomguy was responsible for taking out Titan, who was one of the most powerful demons in the entirety of Hell. And his strength is so high that he can quite literally tear demons apart with his bare hands. Given the number of weapons that he can carry while also remaining totally unhindered, his strength seems almost infinite, and this is only enhanced by his seemingly invincible Praetor Seed. As strong as Chief Mjolnir is, it's not bulletproof, nor is it plasma-proof. Despite the measures in place to protect it, both ballistics and plasma can break through the titanium armor and undersuit and kill the wearer. Despite their Mjolnir, countless Spartans were killed by the Covenant's plasma weaponry, so Chief is most definitely susceptible to the weapons used by Doomguy. After seeing what Atriox can do to a Mark IV helmet with only one hand, it's also hard to imagine that Doomguy's seemingly infinite strength wouldn't be able to just like straight up fucking crush Chief Mjolnir with his bare hands. I mean, hell, given that he can rip and tear demons to shreds with no weapon whatsoever, he could likely just snap Chief. If not all the time, he could at least do this when overcharged with Berserk, which basically uses energy to enhance his strength even further. He can also overcharge himself with energy to create haste, which allows him to sprint at like 90 miles an hour, so not only could he absolutely annihilate Chief in a fight, he could also really easily escape his Mjolnir's self-destruct system that maybe otherwise would have slightly wounded him. Chief's luck is really the only thing that he has up on Doomguy, but given that he's the literal embodiment of overpowered, I can see this being the first time that Chief's luck doesn't save him. Cortana would also be practically
this is coming from hidden Xperia himself.
As would Chief's augmentations and training. Yeah, they make him really strong, but that's in the Halo universe. Doomguy is responsible for single-handedly taking on the entirety of Hell and coming out without a scratch, whereas Chief has been known to struggle against simple Covenant foot soldiers before. Really doesn't stack up that well. Despite his incredible service record, training, abilities, traits, armor, hyperlethality, and luck, it makes me very sad to say that Chief would get absolutely fucking steamrolled by Doomguy. Can I get an F in the comments, please, my boys?
Oh, F in the chat, lads. F. Oh
and
my god.
Cover one of gaming's most long-lasting, heated 1v1s. I honestly think this is about the only battle that Chief would lose, and sadly, it is an incredibly one-sided loss. That said, I'd love to see Chief and Doomguy like maybe team up to take on the Eternal Demons of Hell or the Infinite Hordes of Flood at some point. That is a collab that needs to happen.
And it's a collab that may happen and can possibly happen now, which is interesting. Fantastic job again by Hidden Xperia. This man never fails to impress me. Very, very good stuff. Now it's time to see the opposing end. Now this video is done by somebody I'm not familiar with. Roanoke Gaming? Or Roanoke Gaming, I think it is. So let's go check out his side of the story. Alright, so before we get into this video, I want to give my take on Hidden Xperia's video. I mean, he couldn't have done a better job, honestly. You know, explaining the intricate details of the Mjolnir armor, the procedures and, you know, the medical procedures and enhancements that John had to go through at such a young age, and the training and the military training and all that stuff. Literally grew up as a soldier to becoming the most iconic super soldier in all video game history. And obviously with all the factual information that he's given us and all the feats that he had, you know, succeeded in, it still just doesn't really hold a candle to the likes of Doomguy or Doomslayer. simply because of how exaggerated Doomslayer is as a character. You know, it's just a different world. And that's the thing. When it comes to John, you know, he's a soldier, a super soldier, has incredible feats, but it's logical. You know, the things that he's gone through, the procedures he's gone through, and the training, it's all things that, you know, that's part of the real military world. Obviously, the super soldier stuff aside. But adding that to it, of course, you're going to make a pretty remarkable guy and a remarkable super soldier. But when it comes to Doomslayer, it's just limitations are just gone out the window. And unfortunately, Master Chief has limitations. He can be killed. It's not like he can't. But as Luke had said, luck is going to be on Master Chief's side a lot of the time. And most of the time it is throughout the games. Hence why he hasn't been killed yet. But you also kind of have to consider his military training, the way he thinks, how strategic he can be, and his AI as well, which I think are, you know, beneficial factors to consider, considering Doomslayer, I want to say, has a military background and is a soldier as well, but I don't think has the same extent of military background as Master Chief. So I think when it comes to outthinking Doomslayer, I believe Master Chief could quite do that, because Doomslayer fights demons in hell that, yeah, you can say they can think for themselves, but they're not at all strategic in any way. They just come in hordes, and he just has to rip and tear his way through them. But Master Chief, he's strategic. He thinks about his fights before he goes into them, and he takes down the Covenant or the Flood or whoever is in his way in the most strategic military way possible. So if you did put these two in a fight, I think Master Chief would probably think around it and come up with some sort of strategy that will in fact win against Doomslayer. Now I say that because I don't think Master Chief will go head on against Doomslayer, because if that does happen, then he is absolutely dead for sure, 110%. But if Master Chief was able to do his research and kind of, you know, build a strategy going into this fight, I think he might actually get the upper hand, considering he'll probably look up any sort of weaknesses that Doomslayer has, if there is any, or look for some sort of flaws or openings that he could, you know, take advantage of in going into the fight, which I feel like is not something that Luke covered, and I think is a way of Master Chief actually getting a one-up on Doomslayer. Now, that's just my 2 cents on that. Let's listen to this video and see what this guy has to say. So, first of all, shout out to Roanoke Gaming, I think his name is, for this video. We're going to check this out and see what he says about the Doomslayer. Here we go.
That the Doomslayer is a being of incomprehensible fury. He's not just going to be some drunken dad at a bowling alley looking for a fight either.
Nope,
he's going to
he's
possess
not.
the skills and knowledge to back him up in his never-ending conquest to extinguish the demons of hell. But, per usual, humans being humans, we would like to know, where are the limitations concerning his strengths and abilities, and could he in fact take on other mythic heroes? In this case, we are looking at the Master Chief from the Halo series. Once again, I bring in our resident expert on Halo, Hidden Xperia, who will be able to kind of shed some light on Master Chief's ability and how the Altered Spartan would fare against the Doomslayer. So, let's begin this video, as I am sure it is going to spawn quite a few arguments in the comments. As usual,
I'm sure.
We first need to understand who, and actually I suppose what, the Doomslayer is. Some of you may agree and some of you might not. And feel free to correct in the comments, but I believe that the Doomslayer is very much human. However, he is something entirely different at the same time. Just to give a brief rundown, there seems to be this conception that the Betrayer is the Doomslayer, but from what it looks like, the Night Sentinels had a betrayer that basically sold out their people to resurrect his son, which became the icon of sin. Hell showed up and then completely stomped this world. The betrayer fled and wanted to find a warrior who could avenge his world. The lore goes on to state that the Doomslayer had already been in hell at this point, and when the Doomslayer found the betrayer, he was given the suit to make him more than just human. Now that statement, as stated, will probably spawn a lot of arguments, but from what I can discern, Doomguy, after the events of closing the portal with him inside Hell, he is going to be the Doomslayer that has been tearing up Hell ever since. So, operating on these pieces, it may not be 100% canon that they are really going to be the same person, but nor is it 100% canon that they are different people. Personally, I am choosing to operate under the assumption that he is not some god or alien or other superhuman creature. Well, he's kind of a superhuman creature, but he is
in a way,
Doomguy.
yeah.
The events that kicked our hero into...
So he's going with the idea that Doomguy is essentially Doomslayer, which is the way I like to see it as well.
And he assaulted the officer, and as punishment, he was sent to Mars. Upon his arrival there, the invasion of Hell was just about to kick off. All of Doomguy's fellow soldiers were annihilated by demons. Men fully armed were torn apart, leaving only Doomguy as the last remaining soldier. He fought his way through Mars and basically cleared the whole invasion. But while there, the invasion of Earth had already begun. Upon returning home, he found that his pet rabbit had been killed, which seems to be the only thing he actually loved. He went on to conquer the invasion of Earth before finally entering Hell to take on the hordes of demons at their source. Choosing to stay in Hell and closing the portal, he would decimate the demons in magnitude so great that some demons would actually begin to worship him. Eventually, he would receive a suit of armor, as stated previously, that was much stronger than his current armor that had been really created by humans on Earth as it was standard military armor. With this suit, he would go on to kill demons and even kill one known as the Titan, which the Titan was pretty much the strongest and most powerful demon. This means that the most powerful in Hell couldn't actually stop the Doomslayer from rampaging through Hell. Eventually, a trap was laid by demons
insane
to contain
when you
him,
think
I
about
guess
it.
you could say, in a sarcophagus to spare themselves extinction. They were successful and eventually collapsed a building on him and were able to entomb him, and it was covered in runes to put him into sort of like a state of hypersleep. The strongest demons were placed around the tomb so that he could never be disturbed again. And eventually, though, eons later, the UAC found this tomb and brought the sarcophagus back to begin the events of Doom 2016. Now, we could really sit here all day and argue about it, but really, to me, there seems to be a connection between Doomguy and the Doomslayer. So, the Doomslayer appears to be human to me, at least that's what I'm operating with. But how is he able to survive against such daunting odds while his fellow soldiers fell? Call it luck, call it fate. There exists something different about the Doomslayer that normal humans do not possess. First, let's go over the human traits that the Marine possesses. The Doom Marine is something of an oddity, as he possesses near superhuman strength and endurance not noted in normal human beings. Being stronger, he would almost be something of a Beowulf of the future. Human,
Beowulf of the
His speed
future.
is almost unmatched, or really actually is unmatched, and he is able to sprint at all times with no fatigue causing him to slow. This speed appears to be maxed out at around 49.5 miles per hour or 79.66 kilometers per hour. But let's go back to the strength for a moment. He is able to grapple with superhuman demons and rip them apart like tissue paper, which is clearly above the normal strength threshold of a human. I mean, the demons are so freaking jacked in this game that even if you had a strong man, you know what? I'm going to use a pop culture reference. Even with Game of Thrones, if you took the mountain and you put him against a demon, the mountain would just be annihilated. This dude is ridiculously strong, and I mean, it's a fair comparison that it is because of the overall muscle mass. If you look at Doomguy, he is a pretty swole looking dude.
He's swole. He lifts.
But attaching a muscle to a regular skeleton frame would not be enough. It would just completely shatter the bones. So I'm thinking that due to the fact you can take a direct hit from a fireball that can easily rip apart a normal human being, your skeleton must be stronger than normal. Even the demons, when they do kill you, it appears they have trouble pulling you apart. Everything about you, your strength, your muscle, your skeleton is all going to be cranked up to 11, way higher than what a normal human body could withstand. This strength also gives him another bonus, and that's the ability to carry a ridiculous amount of weapons. BFGs, chainsaws, miniguns, pistols, whatever it doesn't slow you down, not even a little bit. Affecting his ability to fight, suggesting even more that his strength does not appear to have a roof on it or therefore it is unknown where the limits of it actually lie. But it's going to take more than just raw power to bring down hell. The Doom Marine has a superior intellect. One of the most noted examples of his intelligence is he's going to be able to pick up really any weapon from any world and immediately figure out how they operate and what to do. Now, if you've ever actually fired a weapon, it's not just point and click. Weapons are a little more complicated than that. So this intellect has transferred over to giving him a mastery over combat and weapons alike. So a base level Doom
pretty
guy
insane.
is a person whose strength
I mean,
is not
Master
known
Chief is
where
pretty
it
much the
falters.
same, though.
Has a running speed that is sustainable indefinitely, that is much faster than the speeds of a normal person, and also has intelligence allowing him to work out combat strategies and utilize any weapons he may come across. But then there's also another thing to add to the pile: the suit given to him in Hell by the Betrayer. At this point, Doom Guy has become the Doomslayer or Hellwalker. This suit is going to contain many things that would make the Doomslayer even more formidable than his previous self, if you can actually believe that. The suit, first and foremost, apparently is near indestructible. The UAC tested the suit when it was found, but they determined that there were really no weaknesses on it and that anything they did not actually damage the suit. On top of that, it is presumed that the suit is a powered exoskeleton much like Mjolnir armor, but it is unknown how to actually power it up without the Doomslayer in the suit itself. This suit can disperse Argent energy throughout it, making the suit more powerful as energy is absorbed. It also is able to be upgraded by utilizing Praetor chips, allowing for the integration of foreign technology, making the suit even more powerful. But quite possibly, the doom of any Spartan that would be foolish enough to pick a fight with the Doomslayer would also find there are a few reasons this may not turn out so well. Badass Incarnate is a form of energy that makes the Doomslayer invincible to all forms of attack. While it does not last forever, there would be no way a Spartan would be able to counterattack the Doomslayer during this time. Then there are other energy sources that end up driving standard humans insane, but the Doomslayer is able to utilize: Berserk and Haste. Berserk causing the Doomslayer to become invincible as well.
Yeah, you gotta love Berserk.
They're able to rip apart demons with their bare hands, even if the demons are fresh into combat, which means they would be able to rip apart Spartans with their bare hands.
I mean, yeah. God. Oh, I worry for any Spartan that comes across the Doomslayer.
Pushes the Doomslayer's body well past its normal sprint to around 90 miles per hour or 144 kilometers per hour. When the Master Chief got up to 60 miles per hour, he tore his Achilles tendon. So what this is going to mean is, for your body to get up to 90 miles per hour running speed, you would have to have your nervous system working in conjunction and working fast enough to keep up with the speed that you have. Meaning that the nervous system of the Doomslayer is probably well past anything that has been done in the Spartan 2 program concerning alterations to the nervous system. But let's be completely clear about what the Doomslayer is. He does not sound like your typical human, and certainly not like your typical Marine, but he does appear to be Homo sapien in origin and form. Again, he very well could be the Beowulf of the future. This might be what they are alluding to. So it's difficult to really get a read on how powerful he is because, again, there doesn't seem to be a roof. The most powerful demons of Hell have challenged him, which could easily tear apart entire armies of humans and presumably Spartans, and they have all fallen to the Doomslayer. So this one was way easier to call than the Necromorph versus Flood. The Doomslayer just wins, flat out. Master Chief is an excellent soldier, and bolstered with Mjolnir, the fight might go on a little longer than Doomguy's battle with demons, but with the speed and endurance shown by the Doomslayer, Master Chief would quickly fall for a couple of reasons. First, Spartans rely on their speed and the strength of Mjolnir to combat enemies they come across. Fighting organic beings like the Covenant is a bit challenging to the Spartans, as many have died in the process. And while Master Chief has always had luck, he too has struggled at certain points with certain enemy types and variants, coming out on top each time, but the key word is he struggled. The Doomslayer does not appear to struggle. He appears to just decimate. Covenant, I imagine, would fall
he's not wrong.
to a demon invasion.
God damn.
Time and time again, the Doomslayer
into this is insane.
In their tracks and even raised hell on their own turf. The strength of the Doomslayer, his constant speed, his use of weapons and range of weapons, and his nigh indestructible armor make him more than a match for the Master Chief, and ultimately the victor in Master Chief versus the Doomslayer. And I mean, even in the Doom Guy form, while it may be more evenly matched, I suppose, at this point, it should still be noted that the Doom Guy possesses superhuman strength at this point and superhuman speed, putting him on par with a Spartan. But after the Doom Guy's time spent in hell, I would liken it to almost like, and I'm about to drop some anime on y'all, if you consider this anime, it's almost like when Goku and Frieza fought in DBZ. You may or may not get the reference, but basically Goku and Frieza were about evenly matched right up until Goku went Super Saiyan. Then it was 100% game over for Frieza. This is Doom Guy versus Master Chief, and then subsequent Doomslayer versus Master Chief. So what do you think about the Doomslayer flat out winning? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to go check out the link in the description to see Hidden Xperia's discussion of these Spartan
this was
strengths
insane.
and hear his conclusion to the question. Personally, we all know that Doomslayer and Master Chief would just unite and annihilate everything, but it's kind of a cool thought experiment to compare the two. I hope you guys did enjoy our collaboration over these two titans fighting. If you liked the video, it would be very bro of you if you would leave a like. If you really liked it, why not consider subscribing to the channel? I will drop my Discord link, Twitter link, and Patreon link in the description as well. If you would like to consider donating the channel, that is of course the best way to support Roanoke Gaming. Speaking of patrons,
Roanoke Gaming. Damn. This was really, really informative. Both of these guys absolutely nailed the description of these two iconic super soldiers. I just want to give my 2 cents on that. So obviously, you know, if you have any experience with both franchises, Halo and Doom, you have a pretty good idea of the capabilities of these super soldiers. And my experience with Halo is probably one of my best video game experiences I've ever had in a long time. And just seeing and, you know, I want to say absorbing all of the knowledge that, you know, Master Chief, you know, absorbing all the knowledge that I got from the Halo franchise about Master Chief and the world that Master Chief resides in. You know, it's insane to see the feats that he has done and the things that he's capable of doing and all that stuff. But then, you know, if you have any experience with Doom, whether it's the old original Doom games or Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, then you kind of have an idea of where Doomslayer lies in the spectrum between who is the strongest super soldier or who is the most super of soldiers. And, you know, how Hidden Xperia and both Roanoke Gaming had explained on different sides of the spectrum, Doomslayer just always comes out on top. Now, as we did at the start of this video, we watched Doom Guy versus Master Chief. And as Roanoke said, you know, it would still be somewhat even in that case, but even at that, it just seems that Doom Guy comes out on top somehow because of the sheer strength and speed and his capabilities of weaponry and etc, etc, etc. The feats that Doomslayer has done, you know, it dwarfs the feats of Master Chief. And unfortunately, that is the case. And even with my own argument of Master Chief having a little bit more military experience and going into things with more of a strategic outlook, it still doesn't really hold a candle to Doomslayer. And that's just it. Unfortunately, that's just it. So, as we now know, Bethesda and ZeniMax being owned by Microsoft, there may be a day where these two characters actually do meet. Now, you could say that they actually get into a fight. Hopefully that does not happen for Master Chief's sake. Or essentially what people want to see is some sort of epic team up. Because obviously that's something that we all want to see. Anybody that's a fan of Master Chief has somewhat knows something about Doom Guy or Doomslayer, or even a huge fan of both, wants to see that dream team up happen. And it may happen. Who knows? But as, you know, the two of them going head to head is concerned, Doomslayer just wins, hands down, just because he is essentially an over-exaggerated character in a fictional world that makes no fucking sense. So it's just gonna happen, and that's just the way it is. But overall, really loved these two videos, and that was pretty much put together by two very, very knowledgeable lore experts, and even one that is a huge Halo fan said it himself, that Doomslayer would absolutely fucking steamroll Master Chief. And it's just, that's just the truth. Now, unless in Halo Infinite Master Chief gets a huge buff somehow, then we may never know who truly is the absolute OP super soldier. But for now, with everything that we've got from Doom, whether it's Doom 64 to Doom Eternal, we know that Doomslayer is the most powerful super soldier in existence. Now, like I said, one day these two characters may collide. One day these two characters may team up. And the possibility for that to happen has increased tenfold with Microsoft purchasing Bethesda and ZeniMax Studios. So my fingers are crossed that one day this event is going to happen. I don't care how long it takes. I just hope they actually do it. And I'm excited. So this was a video that I wanted to do just because I wanted to watch these videos myself, but I also wanted to celebrate this merging of two incredible video game studios. Microsoft, Bethesda, two that I absolutely respect and adore. And I'm excited for the future and what these guys are going to do together and what kind of games and sequels and crossovers that we may potentially get in the next X amount of years. I'm excited, and I hope you lads and ladies out there are excited as well. But anyway, lads, I'm DV Geek. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I left links to all the videos that I watched below for the respected YouTubers. Make sure you do show them some love and support and subscribe to their channels. Incredible creators with a lot of absolutely insane knowledge for both of these incredible characters. And of course, if you guys enjoyed my video and my little insights into them, make sure you do leave a like for me, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and like I said, if you want to support me, you can over on Patreon. Anyway, I'm going to end it, lads. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay geeky, stay cool, be awesome, and be happy, and I'll see you dudes in my next video. See you later, dudes!